Hello, welcome to part 17 of Airbnb Clone with Ruby on Rails. And in last video, we added multiple images to our properties. And now in this video, we'll add a slider for these images. So let's go to Airbnb. Okay, okay. I think they've updated their website. This new option is coming up. What is this? Okay, so they are giving information about host. They are giving host rating also now. Okay, we will see if we implement this or not, just because the website is really long. Videos are really long right now also. But this is good. The CSS part will be a bit hectic, otherwise it's good. Great. Uh, this is a good feature. That's what I'm saying. Okay, let's again focus to our aim. Okay, I'm facing one more issue. It's showing me details of Italy, France, UK. I haven't searched those things recently. Okay, no worries. Maybe it's guiding me that I should take a vacation there. Anyways, let's have a look at this. So we have these images and they are slider and all. Okay. Okay, I think it's straightforward enough. Let's directly dive into this. So in JavaScript we had one swiper.js. So let's try to use this. There are various swipe swiper.js is a library which has various types of swipers, but let's have a look at one of these first, and if it looks good to us, we'll use this swiper. We don't need this one. This one can work for us. This is with pagination. What is dynamic? Okay, no worries. Pagination progress, no, we don't know this. Just all our loading. I think this is fine. This one. What was it? Navigation. No. Yeah, navigation should be fine. So let's go to our main website, and in that, let's start. It's an npm install swiper. Okay, so in Rails, rather than using npm, we have to install various libraries. We can pin them basically. So let's stop our server, clear bin slash import map. Using import map, we'll pin them. Earlier we had pinned following. Let's have a look what all we had pinned. I think in config import map. Earlier we had pinned L transition to manage the drag and drop transition. So let's do this one now. Pin swiper. Okay, it has been pinned and they have added it to vendor. Okay, no worries. Let's start Rails bin slash dev. They are mentioning we can use this. Let's do it with CDN. Let's copy this. It should be part of header tag, and we can do this in layouts application. Okay, so you can similar to these conditions. Basically, in these conditions, we were deciding that on registration and login pages, we want to hide header, right? So similar to that, we can add this condition here also and control that we render these scripts only on home controller and nothing else. But right now I'm not focused on that, but you can do that if you want to. After this, no US6 not add swiper. Okay, so let's try this out if it's working or not. So we'll go to our home index and on top, sorry, I'll just add this just to test this. Let's refresh. Okay, there is something. It's not working. No worries. Let's have a look. It's saying to set up this in CSS file. So because we have very less CSS, we can go to our application file directly. But ideally, we should have created swiper.css file. For now, I'll just paste it here, and if our CSS grows, then I'll separate it later on. This, okay, we have to initialize this. So it's a JS, right? So we will have to do it in JS controller. Either we can create a separate controller, but I think I'll paste it in application only. Remember, it's not an application JS of JavaScript, it's a controller application JS. Okay, check out this path. JavaScript controller than this. Let's paste this here. I'm not focused on refining the code right now. I'm just focused on making it work. Okay, it's working, but there are issues. Let's fix this. We don't need a scroll bar. Let's get rid of this. We don't need vertical loop. Let's keep it true because images are not indexed, right? Like it doesn't matter if we are showing fourth image to the user at the first position or fifth image at the first position. So loop does make sense to me. We don't need pagination, it's fine. Let's keep it simple. And now we can see that it's working. So now we'll set it up here and see how it goes. Okay. So, okay, by the way, whenever I'm trying to copy or add any new library or any after reading any blog, I want to copy any particular code in my website or in my any project. Normally, what I do is I try to copy paste it directly as it is without making any change. And once it works, so right now it is working for us. Then I copy this according to our convenience, check it again, and if it works, then I make the final UI UX related changes. So right now it's working for us. Now we'll just make sure that images are loaded for us. So let's cut this. We want it here. So let's paste it here. Okay. So this entire div will be equivalent to this one, right? This one. So what we can do is we'll cut this from here. Okay, let me get rid of that. And I'll paste it in Swiper because we need this class name. That's how this Swiper library is managing this. So we cannot remove these class names. Okay, that's one. And now pagination, we are removing it. Scroll bars, we are removing it. Previous and next, we want them. And slides, we will control this. So how can we control this? Let's copy this, but we have to show multiple slides here, right? Slide 1, slide 2, slide 3. So for that, we will have to loop through our images. Where can we find our images? Property dot images dot, let's loop on it, each do image. And let's end this here, and inside this, we'll add this image tag. But instead of property images first, we'll use this image instance, which will keep on changing. And in here, we'll have to add a swiper related class. What was it? Let's have a look again. Swiper slide. Okay. Swiper slide. Let's see how it looks. Something is working. It is working for sure. It's bad, but it's working. No worries. Let's try to fix this. What all might be wrong? Let's go to this. Instead of 600 px width, let's make it 100%. And instead of height, we will mention aspect ratio, which should be 1 by 1. This is working, but this image is also visible. Why is it visible? Okay. This is looking much better now, and it is working also. So you can see that I make change here, none of the other gets changed, so it is working correctly. Great, and it's an infinite loop. Great, now we just want to change these icons, so let's update that also. For that, I'll need to override these. Okay, so let's copy this, go to our CSS, and let's first inspect this and see what's happening. Okay, looks like this image is getting added afterwards. So let's try to remove this first. So how can we do this? Let's make it a bit alphabetical. Next, previous. Let's use this and get, sorry, not content, after. And inside that, we'll add content, this. And I think we'll have to override it using important. Let's try it without this first. It's not working. Let's try this with important. And it's working. The right arrow is gone. It's still there because we can see the pointer has changed, but it's gone. Okay, so let's do the same thing for our previous also. Okay, good. Both are gone. Let me add a background, otherwise I won't know when it is working and when it is not working. Background color, maybe white. Okay, at least it's visible now. Great. Now let's go to Airbnb. It's a circular with a very small icon in between. Okay, and it looks like 28, 24, 32, some pixels. I'm not fully sure. Let's create a circle like this. Width 24 px. I think this would be too small. Height 24 px. And let's make it rounded. Border radius 50%. It looks rounded, but in comparison to Airbnb, I think it's very small. Our pointer is completely inside this, and in this case, there is still less space. So let's increase it to 28 maybe. Yeah, looks much better. So let's do one more thing. Our arrows are visible when we hover on this entire card, right? Yeah, so let's make this change also. Okay, it's visible at the bottom also, so I think the entire parent card element is getting controlled here. So for that, for now, I'll just add a class here, property item wrapper. Property item wrapper. Okay. Now let's go to our CSS property item wrapper. So whenever we hover on this, we want our next button to be visible. Whenever we hover on this, we want our next buttons to be visible. Along with that, I'll also copy this. Hope this works. Display block, but I will have to hide it here also. Okay, I think I will have to use this important property. I will have to override this. display none, and let's copy this in previous also. Refresh. No, it's not working. Let's see. Again, refresh. It's not working. Display none block. Maybe I should try it with swiper. Okay, because it's not actually part of property. Uh, if I have to make it work, then I have to go property, then www internal child, and then I will have to reach this swiper wrapper, and then finally swiper slide. So for now, let's keep it simple. Okay, I think it should not be an issue for us. Yeah, it works good. There is a white foreground that appears on the image when we hover. So let's get rid of this also. Hover. Okay, I think this should work. Yeah, it works. Now let's go to this again. Let's see. Wait, not in content. I copied it at wrong place. Yes, both are working. Now let's add icons. So for that, we can go to hero icons and let's go next. No, right. This one should work. Let's copy this. Go to our code. In our images, I'll create a new file. Name it as next.svg and let's paste this here, and it works great. Similar to this, let's go to left, copy images, new file, previous.svg. This also works great. Get image from assets in Rails CSS. I think we can use URL and use the path, but I'm not. Asset URL. This agnostic helper. No, we don't have any helpers here. Let's try this out. Background image URL. They are not mentioning it in properties. Let's try this. Anyone? No, these should work. Let's do this. Background image URL. And in that, let's mention assets, images, and next. I think there was some caveat here, some edge case here. I'm not fully sure, but let's try it out. Next.svg. Let's mark it as important for now. You can try it out if it's needed or not. Okay, this is not working. Let's get rid of this. This is also not working. Yeah, this one works. So I was mentioning that there is some edge case here, right? So that's the edge case that in assets you can directly use it. No worries. Let's go and paste it here also. Let's refresh. But the icons look really big compared to what we have here. So, and it's a background image. So maybe I can do a hack here. I can introduce a border. It's sort of a hack. The better solution would be to provide a better image which has padding, but for for us it should work. Border width 4px, border color white. Let's see how it looks. Yeah, mm, previous. And let's use it here also. Looks better, but still not that great. Why is that? Maybe let's reduce it to 24 by 24. The right one does look better. Okay, let's bring border inside. Border inside div CSS. We can use box border, but I think, yeah, I was just focused about these two attributes also. We can use border box to make it. So generally, it depends how you set up your environment, but border can be part of this div, which basically it can be part of this 28px, or it can be outside this 28px also. So I just want to set it inside 28px. Let's use this here also, and you can make it here. Looks good to me actually. You can make further modification, but for our case, it looks good to me, and it does work nicely. Let's close this. Yeah, yeah, it does look good. Okay, so we are done with images also. It was a long video, but I tried to keep it short based on finding quick hacks in CSS. You can write a better optimal code. You can just copy this and share it in ChatGPT and mention what all tech stack you are using, and it might provide you better code also. But for our case, we'll keep it like this. The most important part is that we had to override using important just to make sure that we are able to override whatever CSS swiper.js is providing. And if you find any better solution, do mention it in comments so that anyone else who is watching this video can have better results. That's all for now. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.